This is going to be one of 3 different videos, but I want to start here to give my jazz brethren a little bit of a bone. They got pissed at me for a video I made not that long ago, and I just want to give some kudos, some flowers to jazz, and talk about why it is such a great place to start in your musical journey. While this is not going to be for everyone, I do really think it's an underrated way to begin getting into music. Who this really is for is someone who either doesn't play an instrument at all or is just getting started, you want some next steps, or maybe someone who already has started and is getting frustrated either in the method books, reading, or they're played like 5 different Taylor Swift songs and they're like, I'm bored. This is a great place to start. Now, this is a disclaimer. Where you like doing stuff is probably where you're going to make the most gains. And there's nothing wrong with the traditional methods of learning music. There's nothing wrong with any of the different ways of doing it. If you like classical, old lady, teacher, go for it. You want to do YouTube tutorials and synesthesia, go for it. But here are some reasons why jazz may be the perfect first style to master. Let's start with the obvious one. You like making stuff up. Jazz is the style for those who love to improvise and go with the flow. When you accidentally play a wrong note and go on a tangent, that's jazz, as they say, right? Well, again, let's think about it. Let's say you're just starting out. Imagine the fun of being able to play something like Impressions, where it's all the white keys because you're in D Dorian and you can mess around with that. Imagine you just want to start playing a blues and start to explore blues scales. This is a great way to not only get theory down and understand music, but in a way that you can have fun with it. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's keep going through these points. Number 2 is there's super easy pieces to start with that you can get immediate results on. And when I say there's super easy pieces, yes, you can play something like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star right away in classical. You can play something like Shake It Off or Seven Nation Army in pop. But they all sound kind of toned down and not very complete. You throw on a backing track with some swing drums and some bass, and you just start rocking out to, again, like a blues, a simple blues. You got Autumn Leaves and you know the one pentatonic that works over the whole thing. You're crushing it. It sounds great pretty much right away just from knowing the melody and a little bit of improv. You get some chord shapes in your left hand and you are off to the races. Let's talk about point number 3. We get to learn theory and technique at the same time, and if anything, a more emphasis on theory than any other style. I would say both pop and classical tend to address technique and learning rote. So learning basically saying do as I say, do as I do, right? Not so much actually understanding how the music works. Now, this is a broad generalization. Of course, you can learn theory quite well in pop and in classical. But I will say with jazz, you're almost required to learn theory in a way that just doesn't happen with the other two. Number 4. You have a flexible role as to what you need to do to succeed. So with jazz, if you want to get good at chords, get good at chords. You want to just comp and just play the chords while someone else solos and plays the melody, go for it. You want to get good at reading, yeah, you can just read straight up jazz transcriptions. Like nobody's going to stop you. There's jazz etudes where you can just read. You could play big band stuff and literally just read the piano parts. You want to just play the melody? And just play the melody. That's fine. You want to be good at making stuff up? Just solo and just go completely and never learn any full charts. Again, at some point you probably want to, but you don't have to at the beginning. As you progress, you're going to want to do all these things. But I think you have a more varied starting place than, say, pop. Like pop, you're going to learn the melody. You're going to learn the chords maybe. And then at some point, you're going to need to put the chords and the melody together pretty quickly on. You do have some optionality with whether you're going to accompany someone. And so whether you're going to need to do a more rhythmic part and then have someone else sing or some other instrument play the melody. But pretty quickly, you get into a track where you're going to have to do a variety of things And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I like the varied approach that jazz allows you to have. Number 5, it encourages listening. Again, this is a gross generalization, but it does hold true that I would say out of pop, classical, and jazz, the style of music that has the most intense, dedicated listening culture is going to be jazz. And for a beginner, for an intermediate, for anybody, listening is the name of the game. If you really want to get good at music, you really, really need to listen. Am I saying that all beginners should learn jazz? No, I'm not. I'm actually going to make a video very similar to this video about classical and pop soon after I release this one. But I think too many musicians sabotage themselves before they even begin by saying that you have to learn a certain way. They either got this idea in their head or someone else told them this, or they only feel like these are the options in front of them. And I think it would greatly benefit everyone if we just took a step back and realized that there are way too many options to just cordon ourselves off and say that there's only one way of doing things. I'm Robert Monroe. If you like this video, like and subscribe. We're doing live streams all the time. We're doing short, funny videos. Thanks so much. Peace out.